I'd like to call to order the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Jebin Singh,
Here.
McGuire,
Here.
McMurtry,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Moran,
Here.
Zhang,
Here.
and Ortega.
Aye. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. Say that loud.
Land acknowledgement, Commissioner McMurtry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Every community owes its existence and vitality to generations from around the world who contributed their hopes, dreams, and energy to making the history that led to this moment. Some were brought here against their will. Some were drawn to leave their distant homes in hope of a better life. And some have lived on this land since time immemorial. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. We are standing on the ancestral lands of the Dakota people. We want to acknowledge the Ojibwe and the Ho-Chunk and the other nations of people who also call this place home. We pay respects to their elders past and present. Please take a moment to consider the treaties made by the tribal nations that entitle non-native people to live and work on traditional native lands. Consider the many legacies of violence, displacement, migration, and settlement that bring us together here today. And please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll entertain him. We need to amend the agenda. I like to, we have a policy item that we're gonna move to next week, item number 14. So I'll entertain a motions for items 4 through 13.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
McMurtry,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Zhang,
Aye.
Jebin Singh,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
and Ortega.
Aye.
Let's do the proclamation.
Yes. Go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my honor to present the Workforce Development Month proclamation. So I ask members who are here for this to please come forward. You can all come. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. This is Workforce Development Month, and it is an honor to present this proclamation declaring September 2025 as Workforce Development Month in Ramsey County. This is an opportunity to recognize and reaffirm the county's commitment to a strong local workforce system and a thriving economy, and to celebrate the professionals who are essential to that effort. The dedicated team from Workforce Solutions is here today, along with some of the Career Force partners from the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development and members of the Workforce Innovation Board of Ramsey County. These are the people who bring the spirit of this proclamation to life every day in their work, in service to the community, and we thank you for all of that. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas investment in the education, training, and career advancement of Ramsey County's workforce is crucial to the ability of the county and state to compete in the global economy and achieve economic equity. And whereas Ramsey County employers need more workers with in-demand skills to meet the needs of their businesses and communities. And whereas welcoming all residents into the labor force in a meaningful way is critical to the strength of Ramsey County's employers and workers. And whereas Ramsey County and its workforce development partners help job seekers identify their interests and skills and assist them in developing effective job search strategies that lead to fulfilling employment. And whereas Ramsey County Workforce Solutions plays central roles in connecting job seekers to opportunities, advancing strategies that prepare workers for the future of work, and building strong partnerships with employers to strengthen the local economy. And whereas the staff of Workforce Solutions and its partners demonstrate extraordinary dedication and professionalism in serving residents and employers, bringing the Workforce Development Month theme, Connect, Advance, Innovate to life by building trust and linking residents to resources, supporting families and individuals to advance toward and achieve their goals, and innovating with compassion, creativity, and collaboration to meet the needs of communities. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed, the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners declares the month of September 2025 as Workforce Development Month in Ramsey County. And be it further proclaimed, the Ramsey County Board of Commissioners expresses appreciation for the Workforce Solutions team and for the more than 54,624 people employed in the public sector in Ramsey County, whose dedication and service strengthen communities and contribute daily to the prosperity and well-being of all residents. Thank you. Thank you. Say a few words, and then afterwards we'll introduce ourselves.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Catrice O'Neill. I'm the new-ish Director of Workforce Solutions and have been here since January of this year. On behalf of Workforce Solutions and our whole department, I'd like to say thank you for this opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate this important month. Workforce Development Month is a time to recognize the many contributions of our staff and partners who dedicate their time daily to supporting the needs of job seekers. I'd like to thank our county leadership, state partners, and most importantly, our staff who service career force and support residents and assist families on MFIP as a variety of other special programs and initiatives. We're proud to deliver this work on behalf of the county and to advance the county's commitment to residents first services. Thank you.
Good morning, Christy Cobbs, planner in Workforce Solutions, currently working in the county manager's office.
Good morning, everyone. Noelana Gates, Public Sector Pathways Coordinator.
Good morning, Sarah Garby with DEED and the Workforce Development Supervisor for the staff at the Career Force in Metro Square.
Good morning, Michelle Bellitz, Manager in Workforce Solutions.
Good morning, Holly Pratt, newish Deputy Director of Workforce Solutions.
Good morning, Bobby Van Grinsven. I'm a supervisor with Workforce Solutions with the Adult MFIB team.
Good morning, Becky Milbrandt, Manager of the Workforce Innovation Board of Ramsey County.
And good morning, Lisa Getsko, Program Manager of our Workforce County staff teams in Workforce Solutions.
Thank you. Pictures, please.
I know.
In the meantime, I have Commissioner McMultry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to give a special shout out to this amazing team. I've had a chance to see just firsthand of the work that you all are doing, especially in my district after the temporary closure of the Humphrey Job Corps, and how this team just sprang into action to make sure that those youth were on getting the resources that they needed and getting the help they needed during that time. So really appreciate all your efforts because it's so important.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? You can come again. We got you coming and going, huh? Thank you all so very much. Oh, wow, okay. I'll entertain a motion on the minutes of September 2nd, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing no discussion, roll call.
McMurtry,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Zhang,
Aye.
Jebin Singh,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
and Ortega.
Aye. Commissioner McMultry.
Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. I will move the following items, administrative items. Number 4, Purdue Pharma LP settlement, United States Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of New York, court file number 19-23649. Number 5, grant agreement with the Minnesota Department of Public Safety for Ramsey County Youth Support Services. Number 6, grant award from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety for Sexual Assault Services. Number 7, grant award from the Minnesota Department of Human Services, Homelessness, Housing, and Support Services Division for the Emergency Services Grant, Program grant. And I'd like to pull that one, Mr. Chair. Number 8, grant award from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Continuum of Care Planning grant. Number 9, grant agreement with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Heading Home Ramsey Continuum of Care Planning grant. Number 10, agreement with Jorgensen Construction, Inc. for Judicial Chambers Room 12D remodel project. Number 11, First Amendment to Memorandum of Understanding with the State of Minnesota's 2nd Judicial District for project work orders. Number 12, lease agreement with New Brighton Area Historical Society for premises at Long Lake Regional Park. And number 13, hold a closed meeting, strategy for labor negotiations.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call.
McMurtry,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Zhang,
Aye.
Jebin Singh,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
and Ortega.
Aye. Commissioner McMultry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, if someone from Housing Stability could join, I just had a couple of questions on the request for proposal for this particular item.
Thanks for your question, Commissioner. Interim Director Nally Yang will be speaking on this item.
Thank you. So I just wanted to flag, because I'm reading through it, I see that this is our 3rd time that we're putting out the ask for vendors who can help manage the different warming centers for this year. And in this document was mentioned some of the challenges that we've had in the past. So I want to just get a better sense of how things are looking for this year, how long the solicitation period is going to be open. And I'm interested with one thing that was mentioned, that the last time that we did not award any contracts was due to insufficient number of responses. So I kind of want to get a better understanding of what insufficient is and what would be the goal that we're trying to hit before we award any contracts.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Nally Yang. I'm the interim director for Housing Stability. Been in my job for, I would say, since June. So apologies if I'm not able to answer some of your questions. So you're correct. We've had the warming centers in place for about 3 years now. And as you know, procurement enables us to enter into contracts with providers in the community. So every year, what we've tried to do for the last 2-3 years, we've tried to put out a competitive solicitation to see if there are vendors out there who would be interested in providing this service. And this year, I believe that the solicitation will be posted this week so that we can see if there's any interest and if there are any providers out there who would like to step up and contract with us for this service. Now, in previous years, when the solicitations were released, what we discovered is that because of the short season of the warming centers, it's really hard for providers to really gear up, find the staff that are needed, find the locations that would be appropriate for the populations that housing stability is trying to serve, and then also gear down towards the end of March. And so that has been one of the reasons why responses to the solicitations have been insufficient.
Gotcha. And then just one quick follow-up for the solicitation will be posted this week. How long is it open for?
So what we've decided to do with procurement and with their blessings this year is actually put out a competitive solicitation, but shorten or condense the response that we require from the providers. So it would mimic more a letter of interest, which can then help to shorten the timeline for how long providers can respond to the solicitation. So we're hoping that within a shorter time frame, which is probably 2 weeks, we'll have the responses that we need in order to continue with the procurement process and enter into contract.
Gotcha. And last question, in the event we see insufficient responses again this year, are we fully prepared to manage it in-house again for this year?
So we are in conversations currently. There is one particular provider that we contracted with last year who I've had preliminary conversations with, who says that they may be able to expand their services. So even in the event that there are no responses to the solicitation, we would still need that solicitation in order to amend the current contract, in order to add the additional services to that particular contract. And so that's kind of our plan B at this point.
Gotcha. And one last question for the request for proposal, is that for a contractor to do all 4 or just one of the warming centers?
So traditionally, what Housing Stability has been able to do is we've been able to open up a site for families and youth, and we have had temporary staff within Housing Stability run that one. And then we have needed providers to step in primarily for single adult men and single adult women. The provider that we have currently a contract with is for single adult women. And so, if necessary, the focus would be on single adult men this year.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Moran.
Hi. So I'm thinking, every year we do the solicitation and it ends. Have there been any conversation about maybe looking like a long-term contract, like some type of commitment, or some incentives that would help organizations or individuals see the value in taking the time to put in all the work for such a short span?
So we did take that into consideration last year, Commissioner Moran, and what we did was for the current provider, we entered into a 5-year contract, which is the length of time that contracts can be for. And then what we ended up doing is we did a 1-year active contract, and so then we can then amend the contracts annually depending on performance as well. So there was a provider last year that we entered into contract with for single adult men. What we discovered was that the services and the administrative component was inadequate, and so that's one of the contracts that we decided not to renew this current year for.
Okay. But it's still on the table to look at maybe some type of incentives or...
Yep. So the hope is to eventually find providers that we can enter into contract with long-term who are capable of providing not only the services but also the space annually, and then hopefully be able to also ramp up with the whole staff capacity so that we don't have to keep doing this annually. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Lee?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I just also want to convey on behalf of Deputy County Manager Carrie Collins, who isn't able to join us here this morning, but her and I have been in leadership conversations on a more strategic level about how to support this work. We've been talking to the other cities in Ramsey County. We've been talking with our sheriff's office, for example, as well. I mean, this is a collaborative effort when it comes to how to support our residents during these cold times, and we know that it is more than just housing stability. I'll say the city of St. Paul has been an active partner at the table when it comes to our homeless response, and therefore this is all related, and so we need to think about how we collectively come around a table and work together to figure out, how we all take a role in some of this effort. So I appreciate certainly the leadership of Director Yang here taking on this fairly new role in trying to corral, something that's a pretty challenging problem in a typical year, but certainly as a new person who is trying to understand the operations side, having been working a lot on the planning side of the organization. So thank you for all your work. We definitely can give the commissioners more ongoing updates about how warming space planning is going, if that's something that you're interested in. And we know that the time is coming quickly, and so we've been, Carrie and I have been talking about it, on a weekly basis as to the status of this work. So
the time is coming. It's 89 degrees today, but the time is coming quickly. You're right.
Yeah, but thank you, Dr. Yang, for your leadership. So
Thank you.
I have a question. I guess the question I have is this typical, or have we been facing the same situation, let's say in the last 4 years?
I would say yes, to my knowledge, yes. And unfortunately, this year, additional challenges arise just simply because we've lost some of the personal connections with some of the people that we've been working with to set up the warming centers, and so that's an additional challenge. Yes.
I guess, how do we have to start thinking of different ways of doing this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if we're going 4 years in a row with the same situation, what happens if you were to get no takers? If nobody was interested, period?
That's where we would fall on Plan B. We would work with our current vendor who's contracted to see just how much they can expand in terms of what their services are.
Yeah. That's a tough job. Thank you for all your service. Commissioner Moran.
Yeah, I think what County Manager Becker just talked about the cities within Ramsey County. I was just in a conversation yesterday with someone who was stating that Maplewood had been asking questions about the warming centers. And so maybe that's the way we can partner with them, and maybe they can find a location to this issue that we are trying to address.
I can address that. Mr. Chair, Commissioner Moran, that's true. I've been in conversation with City Minister Sable over in Maplewood. I think there's two things happening at once. There's the actual delivery of the services, and then there's spaces. And our conversations with some of the cities has been leveraging their connections around spaces, particularly faith communities was the conversation. Some of the mayors, including Mayor Abrams, convenes regular meetings with some of their local faith organizations. So I think there's a lot of people that care and have the same values as to the work that we're doing. And I think it's just a matter of trying to figure out what's the best alignment of what spaces make sense, and then also, the procurement of the actual services, which is probably both challenging in different ways. For different reasons. So,
one quick follow-up to that, because I agree that there is the conversation that I had questions on today was around the administering of these facilities. But I guess to your previous point, are there any concerns of us potentially losing any of these spaces? Like, are we is there a potential challenge ahead of us no longer having 4 warming spaces, even though the demand is still there?
Commissioner, I appreciate the question. I mean, I definitely think the risk is there, and we're working really hard at securing spaces. I've been in contact with the deputy mayor, who obviously some of the spaces were St. Paul spaces. That's why I've been actively talking to the other city administrators. And so if you happen to be in conversation with any organizations that have space and are interested in a conversation, I'm sure our team would be open to sharing kind of what those parameters would be if there's some interest.
Thank you so much for your service. Any further discussion? Roll call.
McMurtry,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Zhang,
Aye.
Javanzing,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
and Ortega.
Aye. County Connections.
Caught me off guard here. Thank you. So we have some exciting things happening in our community this weekend. So one of which is let me just grab it here, the grand reopening of the Tulube Court facility at Keller Regional Park at the Gulfview entrance off of Highway 61. So this event will take place on Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. We plan to begin our program just after 10 with a ribbon cutting. Tulube demonstrations and an opportunity for people to try Tulube will be available. People will also get an overview of the facility, enjoy food trucks, and learn more about the cultural significance of the game. I want to especially thank the members of the Hmong community for their advocacy and engagement throughout the project. We want to thank especially Natua Vang and the local Tulube Club president, along with other members of the Tulube Club, who really helped to shape the creation and development of this facility by sharing their recommendations throughout the entire process. I'd also like to offer a special thank you to Senator Fong He for his support of this project, including helping Ramsey County secure $500,000 from the Arts and Cultural Legacy Fund from the state's Clean Water, Land, and Legacy Amendment. Additional funding for this project was provided by the Parks and Trails Fund within the Legacy Amendment and the Metropolitan Council's Equity Grant. The total project funding was $3 million. And lastly, I'd like to thank the Parks and Rec staff for their leadership on this project, both in the planning and development. Gus Blummer, who is the Planning and Development Director, along with his team, the Parks Maintenance staff, to get the facility ready for this weekend. And we look forward to celebrating the grand reopening on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you. Outside board and committee reports. Mike Sean, do you want to begin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It has been a while since we last met, but I will mention that earlier this month, I had hosted just a District 6 conversation about the budget, and it was very well, I would say it's very well received in the sense that they understand what the big shift means for our communities, and that protecting and providing our services and social services was key. I continue to host meetings on Friday afternoons for virtual office hours. So I would encourage for folks to continue to contact me if they have questions or would like to discuss about the budget. I'd be happy to discuss it there, as well as receive emails that I will forward on for public comment as a part of our budget process. I also attended AMC's Fall Policy Conference at the Board of Directors meeting as an alternate, and we had a very frank conversation about what the big shift for SNAP is like, and just very honest messaging about what we are now hearing. Ultimately, it comes down to it's both the state and federal government pointing fingers. But here locally, what we know is that someone has to pay for that, and that shift will probably kick down to the counties, and that we have to stay united, and we still have to continue to talk and advocate about what that impact means for our counties. In the general government session, We talked about both what LAHA and SAHA has meant for our communities. And as a reminder, those are dollars from the sales tax and also from the state to go towards the development of and preservation of affordable housing. And many of the communities have been able to build more housing in their communities and are now seeing groundbreakings that are happening. So it was just really good to hear about that across the state where housing is needed. In addition to that, some tax tools came up, including TIF. And TIF is the tax increment financing tools that some cities are able to use to encourage development. And a key piece of that for us was just for counties to have a say, because counties don't establish the TIF districts, but it is the cities that do, and they also have an impact on our tax base. So more to come on that end. And finally, I joined on one of the third cohort meeting of the Burns Institute Learning Community. And this is a space where, we are talking more about what justice is for our community and some of the challenges that we may have seen, or what are some of the barriers to our progress in creating a space and talking about this. And I just appreciated that, it's cross-collaborative across the county with several of the folks who have been involved with our youth justice transformation work. But some of the challenges that we here as a board see and experience in the community is very much of the same frustration that our staff and our community members feel too. So it was just really appreciative of that, and really believe that the onus is on us as policymakers at the table to actually make things happen. So it's just a good reminder. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner McGuire?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks here. Couple Saturdays ago, we had the annual Lake Owasso picnic, which a number of us were at, so I think we can all comment on how amazing that was and continues to be. It's just a great coming together of all the supporters of the community. I'm very struck by the fact that they have a volunteer committee made up of former staff people at Lake Owasso that have a volunteer committee that puts on a lot of these events, so they continue to stay involved, even though they're not working for us anymore. But they continue to stay involved in that in Lake Owasso, and I know the families really appreciate it, and the residents there really appreciate it, and it was just a really great event. We have a new director there; she is doing a great job. So thanks to everyone who helps make our Lake Owasso residents such a success. Also, Monday night last week, I was fortunate to attend the retirement of our Met Council Chair, Charlie Zelli. A few of us were there. Charlie Zelli has given many, many years of service to this state as Commissioner of Transportation, and then now as Met Council Chair. And I just want to give a public shout out to all the work that he's done in really bringing together the metropolitan area in many areas, including transportation, since that's his big field. But of course, Met Council does a lot of metropolitan area planning issues. But thank you, Charlie, for all your great work. And we know he's not going to be a stranger. We're just looking forward to his next adventure. I think he thinks he's going to retire, so we'll see if that happens. But then also, thanks to Daniel Schmidt and our people at the Environmental Service Center, we did an interview and a walkthrough with a member of the media in getting ready for our another open house, our fall open house for the Environmental Services Center. We're going to be doing, I think, open houses throughout the year, just to keep reminding people of all the great work that the Environmental Services Center does. And it is amazing. They have days for bringing in school supplies, and of course, you can bring in your hazardous waste disposals, and there's the Fix-It clinics, and there's the reuse center where people bring in their paints and other cleaning supplies, and if that are still usable, and people can come in and get them for free. So there's so many things that this center is doing, and I think it's great that we're continuing to have opportunities for people to come in and visit there. And that is going to be on, let me get my date here. It's going to be on Tuesday, September 23rd, 6 to 8. Will be the next open house. So thanks to everyone who's helping make that possible. Then we also had we met with legislators, our legislative team of Commissioner Moran and I, and then Commissioner Ortega joined us. We met with a team of legislators on the budget, and I really want to thank our team, County Manager Becker, and a number of other of our staff that gave that talked about the proposed budget. Our property tax and finance staff were all there, and they gave presentations to our legislators to talk about the upcoming budget. And I think it was very well received. The legislators, I think we had about almost 15 of them there to really talk about and answer any questions that they had about the budget. And they're very interested in continuing these conversations. So I think we're going to consider having issue-related meetings with them. So every maybe few weeks, we'll do a webinar, we'll do a Zoom meeting that talks about certain different areas, maybe one on solid waste, or one on the SNAP benefits, one on the shift. So we'll just go into more detail on all these things. We left them with a main message of no new unfunded mandates. We had 4 different points that we wanted to make with them. No new cuts to county funding that comes from the state. We want to be sure and be at the table for any any changes that affect us, for any legislative changes. And we really want to work with them on getting property tax relief. And that's either an increase to CPA, or we're working on some opportunities to look at our payment in lieu of taxes, or our PILT, for all of the for all the non-tax producing land that we have in Ramsey County. So we had a really good meeting, brought up all these issues, and the legislators, I think, were very appreciative of that. So thanks to everyone who was involved with that. And then Rice Creek Commons, we had our Joint Development Authority meeting. I'm going to let my colleague, Commissioner Jebin Singh, do the bulk of that, but I just want to say that it's exciting to be on that board. We had a lot of advocates for housing at their meeting. They were really pushing for more housing, for as much housing as we can in that development. So we're happy for people to come and show their support for that. And we also we approved our revised sustainability design guidelines, and that's also very exciting because we have very specific, sustainability guidelines, and we're hearing from people that are doing it in other areas and wanting to do it here that it's that these are possible. These sustainability and environmental goals are possible while we're still developing it, and it should not get in the way of the development we want to do there. So I'm going to let Commissioner Jebin Singh talk further. We also had our policy conference, as was mentioned by Commissioner Zhang. I just want to say we had 3 amazing panels that spoke. We had a legislative panel that was just amazing. They talked on strength. We have partnerships with many legislators, and our own Representative Sandra Feist is a Ramsey County delegation member. She represents New Brighton in Ramsey County and St. Anthony, and she's done a lot of work for us on our probation funding and our property tax relief. And so we just thanked her. And then we had a senator and another representative who were there, and we talked about all the work that they're doing to help counties. And I thought it was a great representative sample of working with our legislature. And so thanks to all of them and to all of the AMC staff who put that together. Then we had Trista, our executive director of the Ramsey Washington Recycling and Energy Board. Trista Martinson gave a great presentation on solid waste, what we're doing with our solid waste at our Recycling and Energy Board, and that was well received. She was on a panel for that. And then our third panel was on systems modernization for human services, which we all are concerned about and which we want to work with the state on. And we'll be working with our legislators on having them understand how difficult it is to work with the current system of the system that we're trying to use, the IT system for human services. So that was great, and then we had lots of other great sessions, and we of course met in our committees, and we picked the top items from each committee to go to the district meetings where we'll be all voting on what our top item priorities will be. And so we will thanks to everyone who was in the committees that worked on those priorities, and we'll be able to vote on that when we have our District 10 meeting. And then, Mr. Chair, I just want to say a couple more things. Ramsey County Legal Local Government had their collective action work group, and as we said, their water is their focus, and so I want to thank Gregory Goodwine from Ramsey County who talked about things that are going on in Ramsey County, and then Ann White Eagle from our Ramsey County Soil and Water Conservation gave a presentation as well, and just thanks to this group for continuing to work on water resources. And then I'm going to let Commissioner Jayant Singh talk about the Ramsey County Legal Local Government meeting on human trafficking, because I know you were able to attend that. And then just a couple more things. There's the NACO Artificial Intelligence Conference is here. It's at Hennepin County. It's going to be Wednesday, Thursday of this week. And so we'll be attending that conference to talk about artificial intelligence. And the Ramsey Washington Watershed is having their 50th anniversary celebration this Thursday from 3 to 6. And we already talked about the Tulu courts, and I mentioned the Ramsey County Environmental Center open house September 23rd. So with that, Mr. Chair, that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks.
Commissioner Jevin.
Yes, well, like my colleagues, we've got a couple of weeks to catch up on. I'll go over some really fast. One is I was able to attend with colleagues the Grand Casino Arena renaming, and I'll leave that for Commissioner Miller because I think her family had a little bit of a lovely part, extra special part of that. I was able to attend the New Tracks Advisory Committee. This is New Tracks fills transportation gaps in our community for people with disabilities, seniors, municipal organization, and companies for events and things like that all around the Twin Cities. This is an advisory committee that I sat on when I was part of paratransit services for White Bear Lake area schools, and now we'll be joining back into that as they have very dramatically over the last 5 years expanded their services all over Ramsey County, and so I want to make sure we're keeping them connected as part of our broader transportation and all abilities plans. I had the opportunity to attend Mayor Carter's budget address, and it is budget season. And we are very cognizant of all of the different entities that are proposing their budgets right now, how our work is interrelated. So it was important to hear some of the goals and challenges facing our friends here in St. Paul as well. I was happy to be able to attend Commissioner Jean's District 6 budget discussion. It's one of those things where I really think it's important. We don't just represent our districts, we represent all of Ramsey County, and I was really grateful to be able to attend and hear that neighborhood and community's interests in our services and budget discussions, and had a number of really thoughtful questions about the work that we're doing and the calls for us not only to provide services, but to be an efficient and effective organization. The calls for us to be really thinking about how best we can be doing the work that we're doing and be good stewards of the tax dollars. So thank you for allowing me to participate in that. I too was at the Lake Owasso family picnic, and Lake Owasso residence falls within my district, and I have a number of parent advocates who are constantly in contact in expressing their appreciation of the work that we're doing, and then pushing us to help align with other advocacy needs for making sure services are available for their loved ones. And I just want to say a shout out to Director Thompson. We had, as Commissioner McGuire had mentioned, that we have a new director there, and the parents specifically wanted me to know that they appreciated the collective participation of staff, union, family, residents in the hiring process. And they felt as if it really brought a sense of, this is a person who's leading the organization and the team that is the care of their most precious people, right? And they really appreciated the effort to make sure they were part of that process. So I just want to lift that up. When we talk about centering community in the decision making that we do, it's those kinds of intentional acts. So I wanted to share that with the rest of my colleagues. I was able to participate in Fairview Community Health and Wellness Hub's Building Trust to Advance Public Health. They are really doing a lot of great work and have for a number of years of convening spaces of local providers who are doing all sorts of different wraparound and development services for our community. And it was wonderful to be able to tap back into that, and Commissioner Zhang was there as well. And I took a lot of notes. I think that we, as we are expanding our goal of partnerships and being a strong partner in convening an ecosystem of care, that there were some great takeaways of how to be a backbone organization that also lifts up the work of others in community. So I thought that was a really great morning. The Rice Creek Commons JDA met last week, and we had a group from YIMBY, the Yes in My Backyard groups, who were there. And I just really want to thank them for not only expressing their support for affordable housing, but their sense of urgency. Because we all at the county who are sitting at the JDA, our city representatives at the JDA, and then community are in alignment with a sense of urgency. And to that end, we will be putting out a request for information very soon to solicit interest and feedback from potential developers who would want to be part of the large parcel, and with the hopes of using the information gathered to inform a solicitation in early 2026, so that we can continue movement going forward. The other events that I was able to participate in is the Capitol Park Mental Health Facility. The former Bethesda Hospital had their grand opening and tours. They will be doing a soft opening starting at the end of the month, one area at a time, which will help build capacity for mental health services in our area. I also was at the North Oaks Rummage Sale, which supports the Children's Hospital. It's a tremendous effort, and I just want to thank all of the members of the North Oaks Guild for all of the volunteering that they do throughout the year. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars to support our local children's hospital. I was at the VAPDC Health Resource Fair in Vadnais Heights and met a number of local folks who are providing resources in the community, along with our Ramsey County Public Health team and our aging planners. Julia Wolf was there, and I have worked with her for a very long time in aging services, and lovely to see that work going forward in community. And also was able to attend the Mounds View Tribute Park installation grand opening. This was the culmination of a number of years. It's a tribute park in honor of all of our first responders, our armed services, and victims and survivors and family members who had lost loved ones in a number of different events that had impacted Mounds View over the years. It's a beautiful park, and it fits really lovely within their civic campus there. So I encourage folks, and if you want to support that work, they do have bricks that they're selling to commemorate anybody who is working in that area. Coming up, we have the White Bear Township Day on Saturday at Polar Lakes Park from 2 to 9. Great time to come out with the family, one last summer hurrah. And then at North Oaks, you may have heard how Minneapolis had their big longest table event. North Oaks is doing their version on Sunday afternoon. Nice. So that will be fun. A little smaller longest table, I assume. And then I encourage the chair, when he does his remarks, to mention the Landmark Center Gala that's coming up in case people want to participate. I would have to find the date on that. You got to me quicker than I got that up. Thank you.
Commissioner McMurtry.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Chair. A couple of things I just want to highlight. Last week I had the pleasure of speaking at the renaming of the St. Paul Midway YMCA. It's now the Richard M. Schultz Family Foundation's Midway YMCA, just in recognition of the support that they've gotten over the years from the Richard M. Schultz Family Foundation. Additionally, at that event, we celebrated the groundbreaking of the Peter J. King Family Foundation Center for Child and Family Well-Being. This new facility that will be opening right across the street from the Y is going to be a new, vibrant, 27,000 square foot hub for families and caregivers and professionals, and so really excited about the groundbreaking for that and the role that we've played. One of the reasons why I was able to speak at the event was the fact that Ramsey County played a role via the Environmental Response Fund, providing to the cleaning of that property that's going to be where the Child and Family Wellbeing Center is going to be. So great event. I also had a chance to attend the Lake Owasso family picnic with a number of folks and other colleagues, and just connecting with residents and their families and with staff, and just to hear more about the amazing work that they're doing there for the residents. Always a fun time to go and visit there. Yesterday, I had a chance to be a part of the JIPTEC, the Joint Property Tax Advisory Committee, with the City of St. Paul, Ramsey County, and St. Paul School District. Really an opportunity for a couple of things. One, we passed the joint resolution for the max levy for the jurisdictions. Of course, we will still pass our own separate max levy as a jurisdiction, but we did pass that joint resolution at that meeting, and also it was just a great opportunity for us to use that space and speak to and hear a lot of the challenges that all of us are experiencing, especially when we look at St. Paul and downtown St. Paul in particular. I think that Commissioner Zhang made a great point of how this is going to be work that's going to take all of us. You know, a struggling downtown St. Paul isn't a challenge for just St. Paul to be providing solutions for. It's going to take not only the county, but a number of other partners in this region to tackle this problem. And so I think it was really good for us to all get on one page on understanding the challenges that we're currently faced, and understanding that if we have a thriving St. Paul, we will also have a thriving Ramsey County, and we need to make sure we're putting forth the effort to invest and to do things to lessen the burden on our property tax owners when it comes to the levy, and determine ways that we can improve the commercial tax capacity throughout our city and throughout our county. The other great piece that I think that came out of that conversation was what we want to do strategically as a body, kind of rethinking that group and how we can move forward with having more meetings, bringing in additional groups and folks who can speak to all three of these entities at once, for us to raise our questions, raise our concerns, present ideas, and really work collaboratively for the improvement of St. Paul. So I really thought it was a great start to what can become of that body. And then the last thing I'll finish up with is tonight, Falcon Heights at Falcon Heights City Hall, they'll be hosting an open house in regards to the sale of the golf course. So for residents of Falcon Heights who want to see a little bit more about the plan that the City Council passed last year and hear a little bit more about what the U is planning for their process on sending out the RFP and what they'll be looking for from bidders, please do come to the Falcon Heights City Hall. I believe it is tonight at 7 p.m. For the open house. So hope folks can make it. Thank you.
All right. I will-
Commissioner Miller?
Yeah, so I will just jump right in. So I also attended the AMC Policy Conference in Alexandria last week. I sit on the Environment and Natural Resources Policy Committee, and we passed two priority areas for us, and the languages, I'll just read it quickly. One is the drainage management. So AMC supports protecting water quality through watershed-based planning and modernization, but believes any major changes to drainage regulation must come from the legislator, not administrative rulemaking. Also, solid waste. Solid waste seems to be an issue that all counties are facing. When we went around and did updates from each county, solid waste was number one in counties' issues, whether it's landfills, what to do with their trash, and then also making sure that we meet the requirements by 2020-30 and 2020-40. So that language reads, AMC supports funding and policies for innovative and solid waste management, which would include the solid waste district legislation change, including SCORE, funding, construction and demolition of waste, e-waste and batteries, capital assistance, energy, waste to energy and emerging technologies. I also just kind of want to note too that there was the general sessions were really interesting, and counties are facing the significant challenges similar to what exactly what Commissioner Zhang said. I just want to highlight that that'd be at the same time federal changes could shift up to $946 million in costs onto Minnesota counties through reduced federal contributions and new requirements for SNAP and Medicaid programs. So these were some of the hard numbers that they were sharing, and it was just staggering. And of course the outdated systems. I think it was really great that they did a presentation on that, just because a lot of the other counties, or I think some of the leaders, just didn't realize that all the systems that the counties have to use to deliver services are outdated and haven't been updated, and they don't work well together. So hopefully that can be a priority for the legislator this session. I also attended the Environment, Energy, and Land Use, or the EELU, steering committee from NACO meeting last week. We do have a new chair. His name is Commissioner Todd Turner from London County, Virginia. So this was an interesting meeting, unlike some of the other ones. The meeting was mainly focused entirely on the rapid growth of data centers and how counties are responding to this trend. The discussion centered really on the importance of ensuring that counties have updated policies in place to both guide development and to protect their communities and residents. So the whole meeting was around data centers, so it was really a learning experience. And speaking of the Grand Casino renaming ceremony, I and Commissioner Jebin Singh and Moran, we attended the Grand Casino renaming ceremony, and I just want to say, as a proud Mille Lacs band member, it was an honor to be part of this event in my role as a Ramsey County Commissioner. I just want to note that this partnership really represents an exciting new opportunity, not just for the Mille Lacs band, the city of St. Paul, but all of Ramsey County. Really, what you were saying, we need all regional partners to be at the table. I'm really hopeful that this collaboration will, contribute to the revitalization of the downtown St. Paul efforts. And I just want to pin my proud mom moment. If you happen to have seen the new Wild video with the naming announcement, those two cute kids are my kids. So they were really happy to be chosen to be a part of it. They're in their regalia. It was when we were at our annual powwow that they were selected to do the bonjour and welcome. So it was really exciting.
I want you to tell them that we want their autographs.
I mean, my son will probably be right here to give it to you, because that is his personality. And then again, just attended the Lake Owasso picnic, was really fun. I think the staff, volunteers, and families do a great job at planning these events. I mean, they had bingo. My daughter attended it with me, and we went on a boat ride, so that was pretty cool before it rained. So I just want to thank the staff, volunteers, residents for continuing to make Lake Owasso a place of care and belonging. And with that, me, you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Moran.
Okay, let me see. I held a community meeting with some community leaders at Hallie Q. Brown who had worked in partnership with Ramsey County in the past, but just also very active in the community. And really as a reminder to hear from them, what they're doing, because what I'm finding is that, you know, as we went around to like reintroduce ourselves, they all know each other, right? And they're all doing like common work, but they're not like really working together, right? So I'm just trying to spread that message of, you know, collaborative work together, and, you know, if you're working with youth, you're working from youth, how can you support those individuals and family as a collective? I have also been reaching out to my planning councils. And so we have attended several planning council meetings, including Highland Park, Hamlin Midway, Union Park. We got on our agenda McAllister Groveland Council meeting along with Frogtown Neighborhood. And again, it's really as, you know, these councils are like the window into communities. And so it's really taking that time to, one, you know, hear what they're doing, but also to talk about the budget. I think it's really important that we be upfront and transparent with what we're facing here. But then to also say, hey, we're going to be having meetings this week, meetings this week on the budget, and there's a priority area that is of concern to you. Just try to tune in and watch. And then, you know, I'm open to suggestions about what that looks like and needs to be for the communities that you're representing. I attended the St. Paul Children Collaborative Board meeting, and you know, it was good to see County Manager Becker there and attend that meeting along with Commissioner Zong and myself, who are part of the St. Paul Children Collaborative. So there are 3 collaboratives: the St. Paul Children Collaborative, the Suburban Collaborative, and then the Mental Health Collaborative. As usual, there's 3 different collaboratives doing things 3 different ways, right? And so it still is an extension of that conversation about how do we work together on issues that are similar and same, and how do we leverage the collective power that they have to do the work on behalf of children, families, and communities. Attended the AMC Fall Conference, and really I'm part of Health and Human Service Policy Committee, so we really were setting the stage for what the AMC legislative agenda would be around health and human services come 2026. It was good to be up in Alexandria. I also met with the Pretrial Justice Executive Council team. And so really, this is the work that came out of bail reform, that we changed the name to pretrial justice. And what I just want to say about this group is that we're, having conversation with the county attorney and other members, like how do we begin to get super focused on where we are right now and what it is that we need to be focusing on, reporting in, and partnering with. And I would say it's kind of like 2 tracks right now for the Pretrial Justice Executive Council, executive team. One is the inside and one is the outside, right? And the inside would be, what do we look at? What is the data telling us? What is, how does the data inform the work, and what is the story the data is telling? And the outside work would be like, how do we continue to engage the community in this process? What does it look like to hold a community meeting that we are doing, one, that we are engaging our community members in the process of the agenda and what that needs to look like, and then how are we being super focused on what that report looks like, or what are we hearing back from them? What do they want as we are in the process of releasing individuals without bail? We have a community-based organization with Root Wellness who are working with these individuals to support the individuals through whether it's a phone or clothing or mental health services or housing, with the goal of getting them back to show up for court. And this can be a challenging population of individuals, right? They can be unhoused, they can be dealing with the mental health. So how do we focus to get the success that we want? Because everything, at the end of the day, how we move forward is based on the results that we get of people showing in. If we say, oh, we can release these individuals without bail, and then they don't show up at court. So what's the narrative and what is the story that happens with that? So trying to get really, really intentional on the work that we're doing with Root Wellness, engaging the community, but also on the other side, it's like tracking the results that we want and we need. So we're working on that, bringing all the partners together to talk really strategic around that process. Also had a meeting with JK Movement. JK Movement is a non-community-based organization in my district that's working out of McDonough on Lexington off of, Shelby in Lexington? Gosh, I'm going blank here.
Yeah, Lexington.
Yeah, but so JK Movement is working with families and youth to create programming. They have a capital campaign that they're working on, but really this meeting with them was to really look at how do they continue to engage with youth and create a programming where they are giving them the skills, where they are introducing them to new skills, and but also engaging the families in the process. And so it was a really good meeting with Johnny. And my hope is looking at what does that mean for the county as we prioritize the work that we're doing to make sure that we're creating better outcomes and keeping our young people out of the juvenile justice system. You know, we don't always want to be on the back end of trying to work with people once they have been stopped by the police, they go on to JDC, and now why JDC, and we're trying to figure out, you know, what we're going to do with them. Some more of the front end work. And last, I'm going to bring up once again what's going on at the Allianz Field on University and Snelling. And I did mention some of the current work that is happening right now as we talk. They've broken the ground for 2 new restaurants and a hotel with parking. But they will also hope to have an office building there. I don't know if I mentioned the outdoor skating ring that they want to put up in there, maybe some possible housing. They're looking at, again, more, maybe 1,000 parking spaces, a small retail, and the possibility of a grocery store. So there's lots of planning going on around the private developer who's bringing in other private developers to enhance the space there. And I say that now, this meeting, because I want community to know it's happening. It is happening. It is a space that is pretty barren right now. I don't know about many other people, but I complain all the time about the way it looks. I am constantly saying to Dr. McGuire, what are we doing for all the weeds here? You know, what is the plan? What is the expectation for this space? So I'm sharing that so that we can know what's happening there, and if you have any concerns. And, you know, my office is always open to talk more about what that looks like, what it needs to look like, and what is your hopes and dreams for that area. And I will stop there.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I thought that this was super important to share because I failed to mention that at the AMC Board of Directors meeting, we did approve the DCYF, the Department of Children, Youth, and Family Intergovernmental Advisory Committee charter. So this action allows for the creation of a charter that will outline a new state-local committee. And following the creation of the State Department of Children, Youth, and Families, an intergovernmental advisory committee was established for counties and tribal nations to provide advice and recommendations to the DCYF commissioner on both planning, design, administration, funding, and evaluation of department programs. So the IAC will provide advice and recommendations to the commissioner. However, the commissioner still retains that decision-making authority. The IAC does not supersede the work of other statutory advisory bodies, work groups, task force, or the like. However, AMC can appoint up to 5 members and 1 alternate. And I am proud to share that, of course, Commissioner Moran is one of those 5. So, Commissioner Moran, thank you so much for that work. She was also one of the founding members who had initiated this in the conversations with AMC. So that's why I just wanted to lift that work up, and also name that the work that we are doing as a collective to represent the county results in tangible things. And having this advisory committee will just get us closer to the commissioner, who are making policy decisions when us at the county are the ones who are implementing a lot of the work. So thank you for that. I wanted to lift that up. And then, just so folks know, we do have a St. Paul mayoral race this fall. Most don't know about that. So the League of Women Voters are hosting a St. Paul mayoral candidate forum tomorrow night, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Johnson High School. And it will be live streamed on SPNN's YouTube channel and archived for future viewing. Thank you.
Say from 7 to 8?
Yep, 7 to 8:30. 7 to 8:30. Yep. And folks who attend and folks who would like their questions asked may send it to them too, to the League of Women Voters. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me, I'll make mine kind of brief. I keep looking at the clock. There's no clock up there.
There's no clock.
The Landmark Center, where Landmark, as you know, has several years ago, maybe it's almost 10 now, we put together a gala that's been very successful. And of course, this gala is on November 7th, on a Friday. Ramsey County usually has a table, and we will this year, where all the commissioners attend. And we're acknowledged since it is our building and we support it since its beginning. The gala has been very successful, and of course the building is 100% full. It's probably the only building in St. Paul these days that has a 0 vacancy rate. It is 100% filled with nonprofits, and these nonprofits all provide part of their in lieu of monetary. They do pay monetary rent, but part of that deal is that they have to provide free services to the community, and the Landmark is completely booked with activities, especially during the winters, all weekends. 99% of the activities are free, with the exceptions of maybe plays that are performed in there, and they're very, very affordable. It is diverse. Culturally, we've had almost every nation in the world represented with their cultural activities. The money that we raise there is for the programs. 100% go to the programming. I want to add something too, that besides what, and I always speak about all the activities that are going on in the Landmark, and to Mary Jo's point, because since she's been on the board, she's been saying this is a state. This is not I mean, people that have come to Landmark have come from all parts of the state and metro area. And over the years, when I first came on the board, there wasn't much diversity in the audience. That's not true today. If you go there on any any weekend. The diversity is huge compared to what it was 30 years ago. But I want to go back. The other asset it is, when I was a social worker in South Minneapolis back in the 80s, I had to put together activities for folks from Franklin to Lake Street. And in those days, both Franklin, Lake was completely boarded up. I think if you went from one end to the other, I remember there was a car wash and there might have been some other grocery stores that have been there for a long time, but there were very few. And it was a kind of tough. I went to the Landmark. I had to put together some activities for these folks. I went to the Landmark Center, which I had never been to before. And I spent like 3 or 4 hours there, but I came out with 5 nonprofits that came to provide activities for the young folks on Lake Street. So people don't realize it's not just that they're there performing activities that they're building, but their services are region-wide. And so it is an invaluable resource. It's not duplicated anywhere in the States. Nowhere can you go to one building and talk to so many nonprofits that provide cultural activities, arts, music, you name it, it's there. So I encourage folks to be supportive of the Landmark Center, not only attend the activities during the weekends, but also to attend the gala, which is on November 7th, a Friday. It begins at 5:30, and you can go to their website to get the information, Landmark Center. Thank you for that, and thank you for reminding me, Tara. Go ahead.
Can I just do an update on McDonough? It is on Lexington and Marshall. So I just want to bring some clarity as where Jimmy Lee is located.
Okay.
Lexington and Marshall.
Okay. I have another comment. We are aware of remarks recently shared on a personal social media account by a temporary Ramsey County employee that has come to the public attention. As a county, we are committed to building a vibrant, inclusive place where all people are valued, respected, and given the opportunity to thrive. Especially in these times of political division, it is more important than ever that we come together, not to divide, but to unite. Our strength lies in our ability to listen to one another, to support one another, and to work side by side for a common good. We may not always agree, but violence has no place in the future we are building, and we should condemn all forms of it. The way forward is through collaboration, compassion, and shared responsibility. Let's choose that path together. I bring that up because given the events of last week, we've had various flare-ups on social media here in our county, and we need to make sure that we lead on a path that is about tolerance. So I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you. Moving forward here for today, we have a closed session. We'll take 15 minutes break. And then this afternoon at 1 o'clock, Commissioner Moran will chair our budget activities for the day. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.